Imagine an island so mysterious and terrifying that it is suggested by those that know about it to others not to visit this place. Yes, that right. Near Venetian Lagoon in Italy is where this island is located. But before we explore and talk about it, let's check some great attractions near the Venetian Lagoon in Italy that are worth a while to visit first. Let's start with the Murano Island, the glass-making capital. Famous worldwide for its centuries-old glass-making tradition, Murano offers visitors the chance to watch master artisans create intricate glass pieces using techniques passed down through generations. You can visit active glass factories, explore the Glass Museum, Museo del Vetro, and stroll through charming canals lined with colorful houses. The island's glass workshops provide incredible visual content as you film the mesmerizing process of molten glass being transformed into art. Next, we go to the Burano Island, the Rainbow Village. This picturesque fishing village is renowned for its vibrantly painted houses in every color imaginable. Each building is painted a different bright hue, creating a stunning kaleidoscope effect. Beyond the Instagram-worthy scenery, Burano is famous for its traditional lace-making craft and offers excellent seafood restaurants. The contrast between the colorful architecture and the peaceful lagoon waters makes for captivating cinematography. We also got the San Giorgio Maggiore Island, home to the magnificent Palladian church designed by Andrea Palladio. This island offers one of the best panoramic views of Venice from its bell tower, Campanile. The climb up the tower rewards visitors with breathtaking 360-degree views of the entire lagoon, Venice's skyline, and the surrounding islands. The church itself is an architectural masterpiece with works by Tintoretto. And the island provides a peaceful escape from Venice's crowds while delivering spectacular footage opportunities. Each of these locations offers unique visual storytelling opportunities, from the artisanal craftsmanship of Murano to the vibrant colors of Burano and the panoramic vistas from San Giorgio Maggiore. They're all easily accessible by Vaporetto, water bus, from Venice, making them perfect for a day of filming in the lagoon. But what about this next attraction? What if I told you there's an island so terrifying that locals refuse to set foot on it? An island where the soil is literally made of human ash and bone fragments. Welcome to Poveglia Island, a small piece of land in the Venetian lagoon that holds one of the darkest histories in all of Europe. This 17-acre island sits just south of Venice, Italy, and looks peaceful from a distance. But don't let its calm appearance fool you. Poveglia has been called the most haunted place on Earth. And today, we're going to explore why. We'll uncover the island's horrific past as a plague quarantine station. We'll dive into its time as a mental hospital where unspeakable experiments took place. And we'll examine the paranormal activity that still haunts this forbidden land today. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Poveglia Island remains off-limits to tourists, and why even the bravest ghost hunters think twice before visiting. So buckle up, because we're about to take a journey to one of the world's most disturbing places. Let's start with the geography and early history of Poveglia Island. The island sits in the southern Venetian lagoon, between Venice and the Lido. It's actually made up of two small islands connected by a bridge. The total area is just 17 acres, making it quite small. From Venice, you can see Poveglia in the distance on a clear day. But no regular boats travel there anymore. The island has been abandoned since 1968. In Roman times, Poveglia was used to isolate plague victims from the healthy population. But that was just the beginning of its dark story. During the Middle Ages, the island served as a fort. Small communities of people lived there peacefully for several centuries. Everything changed in 1348 when the Black Death arrived in Europe. The plague killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people. Venice needed somewhere to quarantine the sick and dying. They chose Poveglia Island. Now here's where the story gets truly horrifying. Ships would arrive daily carrying plague victims from Venice. Many of these people were still alive when they arrived. But the island wasn't really a hospital or treatment center. It was more like a waiting room for death. Families were forced to send their sick relatives to Poveglia. They knew they would probably never see them again. The conditions on the island were absolutely terrible. There was little food, no proper medical care, and overcrowding was constant. People died by the hundreds every single day. The bodies piled up so quickly that mass graves couldn't be dug fast enough. So the authorities made a disturbing decision. They built huge funeral pyres and burned the bodies in massive bonfires. These fires burned day and night for years. The smoke could be seen from Venice, a constant reminder of the death happening nearby. But here's the most disturbing part of all. Some historical accounts suggest that not everyone burned was actually dead. In their rush to dispose of bodies, workers sometimes threw unconscious or barely breathing plague victims onto the fires. Can you imagine the horror of those final moments? The ash from these fires mixed with the soil of the island. Today, the ground of Poveglia contains an estimated 50% human ash. That means when you walk on Poveglia, you're literally walking on the remains of over 160,000 people. Visitors who have been to the island report that human bones and teeth wash up on the beaches regularly. After storms, skeletal remains become visible in the soil. The plague period lasted for several centuries, on and off. Every time plague returned to Venice, Poveglia became active again as a quarantine station. By some estimates, more people died on this small island than in some entire countries during the plague years. But Poveglia's dark history didn't end with the plague. In 1922, the island was converted into a mental hospital. A doctor named Dr. Brennan was put in charge of the facility. What happened next makes the plague years look peaceful by comparison. Dr. Brennan was obsessed with finding cures for mental illness. But his methods were beyond cruel. He performed gruesome experiments on his patients. These weren't proper medical procedures. They were torture sessions disguised as treatment. Patients were subjected to crude lobotomies using basic tools like hammers, chisels, and drills. No anesthesia was used during these procedures. Many patients died on the operating table. Others were left in vegetative states. Dr. Brennan also conducted experiments that had no medical purpose at all. He seemed to enjoy causing pain and suffering. Patients were kept in terrible conditions. They were often chained to walls or locked in small cells. Food was scarce, and medical care was non-existent. Many patients died from neglect rather than their original mental conditions. The screams from the island could sometimes be heard in Venice on quiet nights. Local fishermen reported hearing cries for help coming from Poveglia, but no one came to investigate. The island was still considered cursed and dangerous. Dr. Brennan's reign of terror continued for several decades. Then, in the 1960s, something happened that ended his experiments forever. According to local stories, Dr. Brennan began seeing ghosts of his victims. He claimed that dead patients were following him around the island. The ghosts supposedly tormented him day and night. They whispered accusations and threats in his ears. Dr. Brennan became increasingly paranoid and unstable. In 1968, he climbed the hospital's bell tower. Witnesses say he threw himself from the top. But here's where the story gets even stranger. Dr. Brennan survived the fall initially. He was found alive but badly injured at the bottom of the tower. Then, according to eyewitnesses, a strange mist surrounded his body. When the mist cleared, Dr. Brennan was dead. Some say the mist was formed by the spirits of his victims finally getting their revenge. Others claim it was just a coincidence. But after Dr. Brennan's death, the hospital was immediately shut down. The island has remained abandoned ever since. Now let's talk about the paranormal activity that people report on Poveglia today. Despite being off limits, some people have managed to visit the island illegally. Their stories are absolutely terrifying. Visitors report hearing voices speaking in old Italian dialects. These voices seem to come from empty buildings and underground chambers. People describe the sound of screaming coming from the hospital ruins. But when they investigate, no living person is found. The bell in the old tower still rings sometimes, even though no one is there to ring it. Local fishermen report seeing lights moving around the island at night. But there's no electricity on Poveglia anymore. Some visitors claim to have been physically touched or pushed by invisible forces. Others report feeling overwhelming sadness and fear as soon as they step onto the island. The most common paranormal experience is seeing shadowy figures walking among the ruins. These shadows appear to be wearing old-fashioned clothing from different time periods. Some look like plague victims in tattered robes. Others appear to be wearing hospital gowns or doctors' coats. Photography equipment often malfunctions on the island. Cameras stop working, batteries drain instantly, and photos come out distorted. Electronic devices seem to be affected by some kind of electromagnetic interference. Several paranormal investigation teams have tried to study Poveglia. Most don't stay longer than a few hours before leaving in terror. One team reported capturing audio recordings of voices speaking in Latin. The voices seemed to be pleading for help or mercy. Another group claimed their equipment detected temperature drops of 20 degrees or more in certain areas. These cold spots would move around the island as if following the investigators. Mental health professionals have noted that even short visits to Poveglia can cause lasting psychological effects. People report nightmares, anxiety, and depression for weeks after leaving the island. Some visitors have required counseling to deal with their experiences. The Italian government has made it illegal to visit Poveglia without special permission. This permission is almost never granted to tourists or ghost hunters. The few researchers who have been allowed access usually have their visits cut short. Even scientists and historians find the island too disturbing to study properly. Local boat captains refuse to take people to Poveglia. They say the island is cursed and brings bad luck to anyone who goes there. Many Venetians still cross themselves when they see the island from a distance. Older residents remember their grandparents warning them never to go near Poveglia. The Catholic Church has never officially blessed or consecrated the island. Some say this is because the Church considers it too evil to be saved. Others believe the Church is simply afraid of what might be awakened there. In recent years, there have been attempts to develop Poveglia for tourism or housing. Every single development project has failed mysteriously. Investors pull out, workers refuse to continue, and equipment breaks down constantly. It's as if the island itself rejects any attempt to change or modernize it. The few buildings that remain on Poveglia are slowly crumbling. Nature is reclaiming the land, but in a strange way. Plants grow in twisted, unnatural shapes. Trees seem to avoid certain areas entirely. Even birds rarely land on the island. Marine life in the waters around Poveglia is notably different from other areas of the lagoon. Fish populations are lower, and the species that do live there seem to behave strangely. Some marine biologists think the high concentration of human remains in the soil affects the entire ecosystem. The soil composition makes it nearly impossible to grow normal crops or gardens. Everything that grows on Poveglia has a sickly, pale appearance. Today, Poveglia Island stands as a monument to human suffering. It represents some of the darkest chapters in medical and social history. The combination of mass death, medical torture, and centuries of pain has created something unique. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's no denying that Poveglia has an atmosphere unlike anywhere else on Earth. The island serves as a reminder of how easily human compassion can be abandoned in times of crisis. It shows us what happens when fear and desperation override basic human decency. But perhaps most disturbing of all, Poveglia demonstrates how quickly society can forget and move on from even the most horrible tragedies. So there you have it, the complete dark history of Poveglia Island. From plague quarantine to mental hospital to haunted wasteland. This small piece of land in the Venetian lagoon holds more horror than most people can imagine. The next time you're in Venice and see that distant island, you'll know the truth about what happened there. You'll understand why locals still refuse to speak about it. And you'll know why Poveglia has earned its reputation as the most haunted place on Earth. What do you think about Poveglia Island? Would you be brave enough to visit if you had the chance? Or do you think some places are better left undisturbed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story as fascinating and terrifying as I did, please give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want to see more content like this. And if you're interested in more dark history and mysterious places, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I've got plenty more disturbing stories to share with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the most beautiful places hide the darkest secrets. Until next time, stay curious, but maybe stay away from abandoned islands.